Hi, welcome back to Half of Heidi. Just some stats to start off with. So, obviously my name is Heidi. I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. I'm 35, married, no kids, 2 fur babies who I love dearly. I'm 188 kilos or 417 pounds. I'm 5'8". I'm scheduled to have a vertical sleeve gastrectomy on November the 8th, which I think is only maybe 8 or 9 weeks away. So I'm thinking I'm going to start putting a countdown up somewhere so that I can keep track of, just how long I have to go. God, it feels really soon. Anyway, so far I've spoken about, just like an intro to me, what the hell am I doing here and all that sort of stuff. I've spoken a bit about my weight gain and that kind of stuff. And I've also spoken a bit about my medical story. There is actually a lot more to my medical story. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. In my last video, I talked about my diagnosis of depression and then eventual diagnosis of bipolar, and how the medication itself actually is, unfortunately, has a side effect of weight gain. And even knowing that, going in, how I was very much putting my focus on treating my mental health and put my physical health, absolutely put that second. Actually, didn't put it second. I wasn't even on my list of things to care about. It was too much. There was only so much I could focus on. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I did actually try to end my life. So I hope that helps explain why for the last 10 years I've been so focused on my mental health that I hadn't focused on my physical health. I've got to a point in my journey with treating my depression and my bipolar that I feel like I've now got that so under control, and I really understand what makes me healthy, what are my derailers, and all that sort of stuff. And obviously sleep and a routine and all that sort of stuff is really, really important for my mental health, as is my support network. So my amazing super duper husband is my rock, and I just couldn't survive without him. He's amazing. So yeah, and obviously hitting 35 I think was also a take stock of your life kind of a moment. Not quite 40, well past 30. There's just something about hitting 35 that made me go, is my life going in the direction I want? What else do I want out of life? And I assessed, where am I going with my career? How do I feel about not having kids? Do I want to travel more? What are all these other things that I want to do? And I wrote this list of things that I want to experience and achieve, basically before I retire. I'm not going to say before I die. I'm just going to say before I retire. While I'm still young. Is that okay that I said that? I hope not. I hope I didn't offend anyone. What I found on that list was how many things I can't do or are really hard for me to do because of my weight. Travelling overseas. So fitting in an airplane seat for a start is fucking impossible, pardon my French. I'm huge. Like, I have to sit in 2 seats. I have to wear the seatbelt extender. That's a delight, asking for that. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just stating the reality. I went skiing twice when I was younger. Loved it. Really want to go again. Absolutely terrified of what damage I'll do to myself if I fall over. In fact, I don't even think I could ski or do any kind of physical exercise for longer than like 5 minutes before I'm, having to lie flat on my back because my back is aching. I don't even know what the chairlift situation would be like. I don't know. It's too hard. Can't go there. I'm sure somebody will come back and say you can absolutely go skiing at any size, but I'm too unfit. And I'm so big that getting back into shape is really hard. I am actually that big, and I promise I will do some body shots and stuff. So you can see just how big I am. You can probably tell by the chubby cheeks. Skydiving, going up in a hot air balloon, being in more theatre productions. There aren't many leading roles for women who are my size. I am going to tell you now. If you want to play Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, I'm telling you she was not a super morbidly obese woman. I could probably get the part of, I've forgotten her name. The wife of the innkeeper in Les Miserables. I could probably play her because she is often played by an overweight woman. But other than that, yeah. No. I couldn't even do the dancing in most of the musicals that I was in the past. I think having children is not an option at this size. Even if I managed to fall pregnant and actually have children, I would never be able to keep up with them. And you know what? Even watching back on some of my videos, I can hear myself struggling to breathe. I don't feel like I'm having trouble breathing, but I can hear how loudly I breathe, which is really strange. It's really off-putting, especially considering I've quit smoking. I should have great lung capacity. I didn't notice it until I listened back on my videos, and I was like, holy shit, I sound like an asthmatic. Or just a really large lady, which obviously I am. So I made this list, realised how much stuff was holding me back. And it also really only started showing up some medical issues that I was having as a result of my weight. So as I mentioned, I think in my last video, how much I was focusing on my mental health first, that I wasn't really paying that much attention to my physical health. It's really interesting then when your physical health starts to go. I had last year I got Ross River fever. So for people who are in Australia, actually anyway, people who don't know what that is, it's a mosquito-borne disease. That's nice. Which basically it's a virus that you contract via a mosquito bite. It's actually very rare. There's not that many cases of Ross River fever in a year, but it's a very it's a shocker of a condition. It's not life-threatening, but it is really debilitating. So the symptom, after you've been bitten by a mosquito carrying the virus, you you start to show symptoms relatively quickly. It's not like you get bitten and the next day showing symptoms, but you often develop rashes. You might get swelling in your joints. Often you'll have pain that feels very much like arthritic pain. I actually got so stiff and sore that I could barely walk. I remember trying to walk down to see the doctor, and it felt like I had shards of glass in my knees. My husband actually had to help me like lift my leg in and out of the car, because the motion, like the muscle pulling on it, or the tendon, it was just excruciating. So I spent, I had a lot of time off work when I had Ross River fever. And it took a good 12 months for all of the pain and fatigue to go away. What was really interesting was that as time was going on, I'd obviously kind of hit some magical weight number that I had obviously developed way too much flabber around my throat. And like when I lie down, my boobs, they just like come up at my face. They don't do that whole sideways spread thing. They just come straight up at my face, and I get like enveloped. So sleep apnea is what I then developed, which I didn't realise that was what I had. I just thought I actually had fatigue from like hangover from the Ross River fever. But no, it was sleep apnea. So then I had a sleep study done, and had an extremely severe case of obstructive sleep apnea. So went down that path, got a CPAP machine. So now I sleep with a CPAP machine. I actually have two different masks depending on how I'm feeling. They're both just nasal masks, though I don't have the full face. So that's fun. But look, there are a whole host of things that I could have that I don't have. Like I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have diabetes. I'm actually quite lucky in what I haven't had. But like I said, I hit 35 and it kind of just made me want to start focusing on my health. The thought of doing exercise, and I mentioned this in my first video, the thought of doing exercise was made even harder by the fact that I have been a smoker for the last 20 years. So I felt like my first goal was to quit smoking. So I did that. I've actually got this app on my phone, this quit smoking app, that would help track like how many days have you been smoke free and all that kind of stuff. So I've been smoke free for 132 days, which is 4 months and 10 days, 13 hours, 12 minutes and 7 seconds apparently. I've saved close to $1,600, which is, yes, that's a lot. I've also not smoked 1,988 cigarettes. That's crazy. Do I miss smoking? I don't miss the act of smoking. I miss the perceived stress relief of smoking. Anyway, then obviously my next goal was to lose some weight. And in having mentioned this to my psychiatrist, that I'd quit smoking and my next goal was to lose weight, she basically said, have I ever considered weight loss surgery? To which I replied, I've considered it, and I considered it to be too extreme for me. She basically gave me some material, and that sort of sparked my quest for more knowledge, for more information. And obviously the Google came out and was my friend, as was all of the amazing people who have posted videos of their experience. I particularly love videos about 10 things people don't tell you about gastric sleeve surgery, and that I love, like, the 10 things I won't miss about being obese and things like that. I really love those videos, so hopefully I'll get a chance to make those types of videos as well. I've once again hit the 15-minute mark all too easily. I'm a talker. So again, I will wrap this up here. I want to talk about next video, I want to talk about what I did today, because I had, a couple of things to report in terms of the process of getting ready for the procedure. So I'll talk about that in my next video. As always, if you have any questions or want to reach out to me to chat one-on-one, really, really open to that. And yeah, I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.